I'm going to start by asking you about Craig Sibbald. I'm guessing the fact that he was up speaking at the papers today would suggest that he is now back and available for selection.
Yeah, he's back training with the group this week, which obviously we're all delighted about. We all recognise what an important player he was for us last season. He was our Player of the Year, and he just had a real difficult time with injuries. But delighted to say he's back in training this week, and it's just about building him up now and getting his fitness levels to where they need to be, so that he can feature regularly for the team.
Is he in the squad for this weekend?
Well, we've got a decision to make with regards to the squad. We've got a number of players there now who are available, and obviously Craig comes into consideration for that. But he's nowhere near ready to start a game, as I don't think anybody would expect him to anyway, having been out for over 3 months. But it's great to have him back. He's a top player for us, great professional. In training during the week, sets high standards, and we're fortunate to have him available again.
I think we've spoken about him quite a lot this season, about his absence, but it must almost feel like having a new signing available.
Yeah, definitely does. I mean, when players like that are out for such a considerable period of time, then you're always relieved to have them back. And some of the guys that are at the club now, only trained with him for the first time this week because he's been out for that significant length of time. So it is like having a new signing back, and he's coming back at a really significant period in the campaign, and for me as a manager, it's great to have those options available.
What is your other team news?
Everybody else is okay. We've got good strength and depth now in the squad, which is going to stand us in good stead in the busy period that we've got coming up. We've got 3 games next week. Great games, all really exciting ones to look forward to, and it's going to take the whole squad to ensure that we get the points we need.
What are your thoughts going into this game this weekend? Obviously there'll be a new manager in the dugout for Motherwell. Do you think that'll have any bearing on the game? Well,
it's definitely not ideal that you go and play against a team that's had a new manager and there's no games to analyse. In fairness to my analyst Aidan, he's been working tirelessly behind the scenes to try and get some footage from some previous clubs, but it's very difficult for us to try and predict what the system's going to look like, what the personnel is going to look like, and what their game plan is going to be. So we've the main focus for us has always been on ourselves, making sure that we're in the right frame of mind, defensively, making sure we're solid, and doing what we've been good at all season, which is what put us in this really strong position that we're in. Focus on ourselves. We respect the opponent, but we realise if we play to the levels that we're capable of, then we've got more than enough to go and win the game.
I mean, the league table still makes very pretty reading from a Dundee United point of view, but obviously the recent results haven't gone the way you would have wanted. I mean, how concerned have you been by the results?
Look, there's no getting away from the fact that on paper, the last half a dozen results or so haven't went the way we would have liked, but I always think it's important to put these things in perspective as well. We've played Celtic twice during that period at Parkhead, obviously Rangers at home, and in the other games, they've been real narrow defeats where there hasn't been a great deal in the games. So, we're still in a very good position as far as we're concerned. There's still a really good positive feel-good factor about the group, and we've got 7 games now to go before the split, and it's an exciting time, I think, for the club, for the players, for the supporters, and I think if you'd have offered us this position way back at the beginning of the campaign, I think we all would have taken it.
Has a lack of goals in the last 6 or 7 games been a concern?
Look, obviously, as I said, you sometimes got to credit the opposition, and I think that has certainly been the case in some of the games. They've been very difficult opponents. I think we're at that stage of the season now where there isn't a great deal in the games. I think there's a lot of nerves and a bit of anxiety as well at times. And I think you've seen that in some of the games. But listen, it certainly hasn't been for the lack of trying on our part. We've certainly been creating opportunities, but we have to just get back to doing the basics well in front of goal, and keep supplying the service for the likes of Dalby and Ruairi Payton and Holt and Van der Sande, and we need not just to rely on Sam Dalby, but we need everybody to chip in, and that's defenders and midfielders throughout.
Jim, Wrexham have reportedly tabled a contract extension for Sam Dalby. Do you think United will be able to try and compete with that? Obviously, you've spoken before, you'd ideally want to keep him if you can.
Well, look, there's no surprise that Sam has obviously got a lot of attention off the back of what he's done for Dundee United. We believed in him before we brought him to the club. I always felt his game was suited to the Scottish Premiership, and that's why he's among the top goal scorers in the league at the moment. So, I think it's been a really successful loan for everybody. To answer your question, do we want to try and hold on to him? Of course we do, and we'll be, at the table having those conversations in the summer. But some of these teams out there have got bigger budgets, and we're quite realistic about that aspect of it as well. But all I can say is that Sam has loved his time at Dundee United. He's really appreciated what the club have done for him. We've given him that opportunity to put himself in the spotlight, if you like, and I know he's very grateful for that. So we'll just focus on the games that we've got coming up now. A dozen games to go before the season ends, and Sam has played a huge role in putting us in the position we're in right now, and I know he's got one eye on being top goal scorer in the Premiership, which would be a hell of an achievement for him.
Reportedly interest from Derry City and Kevin Holt as well. Is that the case, and how valuable a player has he been for yourselves?
Look, Kevin has been instrumental, I think, in the last couple of seasons. First of all, helping us get out of the Championship at the first time of asking. He was one of the best defenders in the league. This year, stepping up into the Premiership, proving a lot of people wrong whether he could handle this level or not. I always believed he could, which is why I wanted him to stay in the summer, and I think he's been very consistent for us. The Irish window is different to our one here, so no doubt there's a number of teams in Ireland that would love a number of our players, but this is a really important time for us, and we're not thinking about any outside distractions at this time.
Just one final one from me. With that new manager bounce that Motherwell might bring, how much do you hope that Tannadice being at home might nullify that threat almost? Yeah, well, look,
the supporters have been outstanding for us this season. We've sold the stadium out on numerous occasions this year. It goes without saying, in football, if you put a good product on the park and you make it exciting and you win games of football, then the supporters will come out in good numbers. We need them now over the next 12 games to help us achieve that objective of getting top six. We've never for 1 minute believed that we had achieved it at any point up to now. We always said and maintained the fact that there was still a lot of football to be done, and that's still the case. A lot of teams fighting for different things within the league, whether it's in the relegation battle, top six, European places. There's something to play for everybody in the league at this moment in time, and as I keep saying, we've put ourselves in a great position. Okay, results of late haven't been what we would have liked, but at the same time we're very confident going into this run of fixtures, and I think it's exciting for everybody and the supporters as well, and I hope they continue to turn out in good numbers and get behind the team on Saturday.
Looking at going towards this top six position, 7 games to go to the split, 4 of them at home, and no Celtic and Rangers. Do you feel that that's the best opportunity available to Dundee United with that hand that has been dealt?
Look, our home form has been good, as has our away form, to be perfectly honest. The points are, the balance of points home and away is quite consistent, I think, but of course, like every team, you'd always rather play at your own stadium in front of your own supporters, and generating a good atmosphere, which has been the case in the main this season at Tannadice. But as I said to the previous question, there are no easy games, home or away. You've got to perform. Everybody needs to be consistent. We need to do our jobs properly defensively, and we need to get back to being creative and giving our strikers those goal-scoring opportunities that they crave. So we're happy with the fixtures that we've got to come, but albeit none of them on paper look all that straightforward.
And top six, obviously, at the start of the season, if someone said to you, you're going to be in with a good shout for a top six, would that have exceeded your expectation at that time?
Well, I think it probably would for a lot of people, because we are the newly promoted team. I know Dundee United is one of the bigger teams in the country, and we don't ever want to be in that type of situation again. But I said at the beginning of the season that the first objective was to try and achieve enough points to make sure that we stayed in the league. I don't think we're quite there yet. We've still got a bit of work to do before we can say that that's guaranteed and secure, but we have now put ourselves in a genuine position to go and compete for those top 6 places. Of course, the likes of Hibs and Hearts are going on a really strong run at the moment. I would expect Aberdeen to pick up with the recruitment that they've done in January as well. So there's a real fight on there. Kilmarnock have been on a decent run of late as well. St Mirren will have questions to ask because they want to be in the mix as well. So, there's still a hell of a lot to play for. We haven't achieved anything yet, and we've just got to make sure we keep working hard over these next 7 fixtures to give ourselves the best opportunity possible of remaining in this top 6.
Things against Motherwell this season haven't gone perhaps according to plan. What can we expect to see from Dundee United this weekend that's going to turn that around to more positive results? Yeah,
well, there's no hiding from that fact that Motherwell have beaten us on 3 occasions this year. Again, by the odd goal. I think there was never a great deal between the 2 sets of players on the day, and every game was in the balance, albeit Motherwell came out on top on each occasion. So we have to try and turn that in our favour on Saturday. As I said earlier, we don't know what to expect from Motherwell in terms of their system, in terms of their shape, in terms of the personnel. We can just focus on ourselves and make sure that we do our jobs to the best of our ability. And I believe if we do that, then we give ourselves a great chance of getting all 3 points.
You just spoke before there about the number of other teams trying to make a run at the top 6, and given how tight the league is, just 11 points from 11th to 3rd place, does that put an extra bit of importance on a home game this weekend against Motherwell?
Yeah, definitely it does. It's hard to say at this moment what the number is going to be in terms of points, what's going to guarantee top 6. If you go back over the last decade or so, on average it's been about 43 points. The target that we have set for ourselves way back at the beginning of the season is a little bit more than that, to be honest. So we've got a bit to go to try and achieve that target that we set for ourselves. I think a couple of seasons ago Dundee creeped into the top 6 with 39 points. It's definitely not going to be that this season. So it's hard to say. There's lots of teams going on good runs at the moment. We're on the opposite side of that at the moment, where we're going. We've hit a little bit of a bad patch in terms of the results that we've had, albeit we've played some really difficult opponents within that. But I keep harping on about the same things. We've put ourselves in a brilliant position, and I think it's really exciting for the group that we've got these big fixtures to look forward to, and a real opportunity to achieve something really, really positive. If we were to get top 6, I think it would be a fantastic achievement for the group.
Just finally, you spoke about a positive loan in terms of Sam Dalby and the impact he's brought to your team, but I suppose in the reverse of that, Owen Sturton on loan at Montrose has really got off to a flying start, and just how impressed with him and his start have you been, and the impact that can have on his development? Yeah,
delighted for Owen, obviously. The loan system is something that I'm a big advocate of. I've spoken previously about the setup within the Scottish game at the moment. Something needs to change with regards to the pathway for younger players into the first team. At the moment we've only got our under-18s team and no reserve team in between the first team. It's a hell of a big step. So that loan system is vital in order for us to get some of our younger players senior football experience. Owen's one that we've got real high hopes for. The plan was always to send Sam Harding out in the first half of the season. He had great success at Kelty. Bring him back into the fold for the second half to get him in and around the group, and we've done the opposite with Owen Sturton. We kept Owen in the group first half, send him out the second half, and I'm delighted with the progress that he's making. And we've got a really good relationship with Montrose. There's a lot of ex-Dundee United guys there. There's a connection there between the club, and myself and Sean Dillon are known each other a long time, so we're happy to help them out, but at the same time they're helping us out as well by giving these boys game time. And Owen has got off to a flyer, and confidence is high, and long may that continue.